Alright folks, this is me. I'm driving. Apologize, you got to see my ugly mug for this review. But I just came out of seeing American Assassin and I wanted to give my thoughts on it. I wanted to do a review last week for it. I just didn't get around to it. Now it's kind of a little too late for that. Everybody that has really wanted to see it has probably seen it, and if not, they've already, read other people's reviews. So no real point in me doing an it review, but I'll suffice it to say I loved it. So I like comic books. I like horror. Those two genres do fascinate me. But there is also a third genre that I like from time to time, and that is like action thrillers, specifically counterterrorism, espionage, military thrillers, things like that. I actually am a fan of Mitch Rapp, who is the fictional character, the main character of American Assassin, and it's based off of a book series by Vince Flynn, who has passed away. And I really do like his books. I haven't read all of them. I can't tell you that I'm the greatest Mitch Rapp fan, but I am a fan enough, that I'm familiar with the source material and what the character is like. The book is really a great read. The film has changed several things. They basically took some story elements from the book, but the story is actually very different in the film from the book, which will upset some, diehard fans who are, and this is in every type of fandom, that if you don't get the exact it has to translate directly from the source material, or else people feel it is blasphemous. I'm not one of those people. I just want, a moderate amount of respect to the source material, but I also know that in adaptation there is going to be changes, there's going to be license, and I'm okay with that, because guess what, I still have the books, or I still have the comic books, or there's still the source material, so it doesn't take away. And I want them to try different things, because then we can explore the characters in new ways, because it's a different medium. So I'm completely fine with changes, and the changes that were made in this, they worked out. They were good. That said, because of the setting for the book took place, I think, in like the late 90s or early 2000s, so they had to update it. They had to modernize it a bit. And so there's some story elements that are lost, and some that are just updated for to fit with the times, essentially. And it works good. It's a very entertaining film. It's about an hour and 51 minutes, and it's well paced. I wasn't bored at any time in the film. I didn't feel like there was any real lull in it. And for almost a 2-hour film, it felt like it was like 90 minutes or less. Like it moves very smoothly and fast. But that said, if you're familiar with this genre, like if you've seen the Bourne films, or if you have watched 24, there are certain elements within the film that you've seen before, and I don't want to give those away. This is a spoiler-free review. So it feels a little tried, a little tired. Been there, done that a little bit. However, what makes up for the kind of flat narrative, kind of formulaic story, is the performances by the lead, Dylan O'Brien, and by Michael Keaton, and the actor that played the villain, his name's Tyler or Taylor. Anyways, solid performances. They're the ones that really sell this film and make it worthwhile to see. The action is good, and very serviceable to the story. Definitely jarring at times if you're expecting kind of like I said, the story is kind of cookie cutter, and so when you get these like really like grisly shootouts, it kind of jars you, it catches you off guard a little bit. So the film does stay fresh, even though the story is a little flat, and the performances keep the film on track as well. I really wasn't sold on Dylan O'Brien when I first heard about the casting because, again, I am a fan of the book series of Mitch Rapp. He's a really interesting, solid character. But anyways, my tune changed after seeing. He gave a great performance. I feel like he really captured the spirit of who Mitch Rapp was in his early years, because this is basically an origin story for the character. And I really hope this film does well enough to warrant at least one sequel. I know it's not going to break any records. I get the fact that this isn't a film for everybody. Some people might be kind of tired of the genre. You know, we've been dealing with things like terrorism for like over 15 years now. I mean, there's been terrorism for decades, centuries, but modern terrorism is something that, for some it might be kind of like a completely worn out and unwelcome genre. Some people might be just tired of it, and that I understand. But I hope there's enough people that like the genre to make this film profitable enough to get a sequel, because I would like to see a little bit more of these characters that were in the film, as well as another series that I really like. There's a character named Scott Harvath who's similar, but not. There's differences, but a similar series which was written by Brad Thorne. He's one of my favorite thriller writers, and it's definitely within the same genre. And so if this film tanks, it's very unlikely that they're going to make the film for Scott Harvath. In fact, I am betting that this film is like testing the water for these other properties. So I'm praying that this film, I don't know the economics behind like how much they need, because I don't know what the budget was, but I'm really hoping that this film does well enough to warrant a sequel, and to give the cast that survives the film. Won't tell you who dies, or if anyone dies. Maybe they all live and they go to Disneyland at the end of the film. That's probably how it ends, actually. I'm sorry for ruining it. They go to Disneyland at the end of the film, and they get cotton candy and stuffed animals. So I actually want to see a sequel. Where do they go after Disneyland? Do they go to Disney World? Anyways, so I do want to see a sequel, and I was really impressed with Dylan O'Brien. This is a solid action film. Go and see it if you're interested. Like I said, I completely understand if some people are tired of the genre, so I'm not expecting like 100 million at all. I just hope that it does well enough, and yeah. Take care.